Hi there, welcome to Retired But Wired. The rise of the X19. This is the first view of the car I had at the back of a farmer's barn. In a barn in Germany, the X19 has been asleep for 20 years, waiting for me to wake her up. I had no idea what colour or the condition it was in. Back in the 80s, I actually had this car and sold it like a fool. These are an absolute great little car. Drive like a go-kart. The electrics are a nightmare. So let's remove the cover and see what we've got. Actually, it's a lovely colour, lovely red. Very dirty and dusty, and I'm sure it could do with a really good clean. I can have a good look around it to start with, just to make sure. Apparently the owner drove it to Italy, to Spain, and then back, put it in the barn and it stayed there. They've now emigrated to America and the car's been forgotten. Now looking all around it, the overall condition's pretty good. I'm pretty happy. But being laid in the barn definitely has saved this little car's life. There's lots of spares that are coming with it as well, which are handy. The wheels and tyres all look good. All the seals look clean and good. Underneath the back with the exhaust pipe and the little grille that normally rusts away. The bonnet's pretty good. To be honest, very lucky. The only thing is the bumpers have been painted black, which is not a major problem. And it looks like the brand new Fulda tyres, which normally would be absolutely knackered by now, but they've actually had a green cap put on them. So it normally means they had gas put in them, which stops them from deteriorating. You know, with the Targa roof off, everything looks pretty sweet. All the little bits and pieces inside that normally rust to death may have a bit of surface rust, but nothing to talk of. Inside the actual front compartment, it's clean as a whistle. In mine back in the 80s was rusty. I've got all the actual, it's actually an American car, imported. It looks like someone's put something on the boot and broke the actual badge. That's not a problem. We can get hold of one of those pretty easy. One problem, mid-July, baking hot day, and about 40 degrees in the barn. Now guys, how many of your wives or partners would actually sit there while you clean the car? Mine did. So guys, if your partner would do this for you, when I'm sure she'd rather not, she's the right one for you. I'm a lucky man. This video, after it was polished, these photos and videos were not made to make YouTube post. The lighting's bad, the sound's awful, but it was just the way it was in the barn, so it wasn't made up. You can see now that the bodywork has got a lovely shine to it. Like I say, it took a good couple of hours. Like I say, the actual car inside is a little bit scrappy with the leather, but you know, I can accept it and rebuild it as we go. It's got a few marks and scratches on it, but I mean, to be honest, from 1986 it should have, otherwise it would have been sat in a museum. You can see the underneath the car in a second when we go down. I'm afraid my finger keeps going over the lens. That's because that's how it was in the barn, but you can see the size of the barn. Now as you look underneath now at the grills at the back, this normally absolutely rusts out because obviously the water all comes up inside, you know, but it's been very good. Very good. With the Targa roof off, it gives us a better look inside the car from the top. You can see the seats now, quite badly ripped. It's not, you know, unrepairable, but it's a bit shabby. I think it may have been even the heat in the garage, but look at the miles, 63,000 miles, not kilometres, because that's how we know it's an American car. The wiring is in hell of a state. I don't know, I'm going to have to, you know, go through the whole lot just to get the car started. But apart from that, it's pretty good. And it's an air conditioning one as well. The headlight switch looks to me like it's burnt out. So I've got a funny feeling none of the flip-up lights are going to work or anything at all like that. But this is what you pay for. But look how close things are to the car. to be honest with you, I'm surprised it hasn't been scratched. It's been here for 20 years and a working barn. He must be a really good friend because obviously nothing's touched the car or scratched it. The engine looks pretty good. I had a look on the top there. I think the cam belt was done in 2000. So someone obviously done the cam belt. I think whilst it was still in here. I know he's been paying people to try and get it going. But you know, I'm willing to give it a go. I'm willing to give it a go. So I'm sure I can get it going. I've fixed my last one. And you know, inside, you know, it's even got inside the back here 2 first aid kits. One's not even been opened from 1998. So nothing at all. I can see it's got the usual electric aerial, which isn't wired up, which I'm sure it won't be. But you know, all these little things I shall enjoy doing. But this rip is a pretty bad one. Probably going to have to get the sewing machine out, take the covers off, and my lovely wife is going to have to try and stitch it up. She actually made a motorcycle seat cover back in England for her bike, which I was very impressed with considering we couldn't buy one. But anyway, that's the whole car of what it actually looks like now. It's all cleaned. And I think once we get it to Croatia, it'll be great. Now it's on the trailer, so it's on the way back now to Germany, to one of the family members. So that's my truck there, English truck, and we're pulling it all the way back now to Kern. This is it in the garage. You can see that the brakes were seized. I daren't put a handbrake on, so I'm using wooden chocks on everything. But now it's time to check all this sort of stuff. I checked the oil. The points and that don't look too bad, but the brakes, absolutely terrible. You can't move the blinking car. So I'm taking the pads out, so there'll be no brakes at all for now. I thought I could clean it up and maybe get the calipers working, but it's gone too far. You know, 20 years is a long time in that garage. You know, I spent a couple of days actually trying to free it up so I can push it backwards and forwards easy. It needed 2 people to push it back into the garage. So anyway, everything was stripped out, cleaned up, and ready, you know, to redo later. I've got all new discs and everything else now. It looks like someone's been playing around with the fuse board and the electrics anyway, but the interior is really good. Normally the dashboard splits when it gets hot or anything into the heat. The top of the seats look good, and the back parcel shelf's good, which normally actually reacts. One problem I found is on the ignition block, it's burnt out. So that's why it was cutting out. But the most important thing, I've got the engine going. She's alive. So she's absolutely alive. So she's running a treat. The book you can see on the boot is actually the actual book that I had with the gold car. So I still had it, which is quite lucky. Give it a little blip on the throttle now. And she picks up well. And then obviously, now we're off to Croatia. So now it's all ready to go back home to Croatia. 2 motorbikes inside and the X1 on the trailer. So now we're back in home, back at Navalia, and the cars are there. Thank you for watching Retired But Wired. If you enjoyed, please subscribe, like or comment. Thanks.